Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Wednesday, November 18th, 2015. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. The Honorable Mark Brantley says he is grateful that Professor Gilbert Morris was able to accept the invitation to be last evening's guest speaker at the third installment of the Nevis Entrepreneurial Series. The Nevis Entrepreneurial Series is the brainchild of Minister Brantley, who addressed last evening's event in his capacity as Deputy Premier and Minister of Tourism.
We have felt as a government that annually we ought to bring someone with the necessary profile and the necessary life achievements, if you will, who could impart to us some sense of what it is to cultivate this entrepreneurial spirit. And I'm very happy that this year, I've been after him for a while, but this year we've finally been able to get my very good friend, Professor Gilbert Morris.
Minister Brantley said he hopes the interaction would have engendered and generated a spirit of entrepreneurship in the people of St. Kitts and Nevis for the benefit of the growth and the development of the country's economy.
We are hopeful that there will be an interaction and that those of you who have made the effort to come will certainly share your own ideas and perspectives on what he has to say. Now, he did ask what he ought to talk about. I told him he can talk about whatever he feels like talking about, because for my purposes and for the purposes of this effort on the part of the government, it's really for us to have a conversation about entrepreneurship, about young people in particular who are coming out of school, who we want to say they want to start their own business, they want to implement their own ideas, as opposed to the normal situation where they start knocking on everybody's door looking for a job. And so we feel there's a tremendous amount of creativity, a tremendous amount of energy in our young people, and not so young as well. And that sometimes all that they really need is encouragement. They need a blueprint of sorts. They need a roadmap. They need an idea of how they can achieve that which they wish to achieve. And so for us, if these series achieve anything at all, the hope would be that they inspire somebody.
Chairing last evening's event, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Carl Williams, noted that the primary objective of the series is to ensure a guided path for the next generation of entrepreneurs on the island.
It is amazing the ideas that young persons possess. However, it is especially important for them to be taught or receive first-hand knowledge of the principles of what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. If we fail to prepare them, we risk the chance of losing our generation of entrepreneurs. Thus, we shall, with the advice and help of Professor Gilbert, endeavor to share information, including best practices and advice to present and prospective entrepreneurs today, in an effort to ensure that the entrepreneurial stock of our island continues to grow and a secure future be afforded to all.
Gilbert Morris, who is an economist, served as visiting professor at the George Mason University from 1995 to 2001 and as senior economic advisor to the Deputy Premier and Minister of Finance of the Turks and Caicos Islands from 2002 to 2003.
The idea is to invest in yourself, invest in your vision, be disciplined about what it is you have to do, deliver quality by all means, test your ideas. I always say that I'm not looking for experience. You can find experience anywhere. I'm looking for people who have been tested. I trust people who have been tested. And whether they succeeded at that test or failed, they know things no one can teach them. And those are the things you want as part of a successful business enterprise.
Attendees to the event were also given an opportunity to have their questions and concerns addressed. Permanent Secretary Williams described Gilbert's presentation as excellent and expressed the hope for further dialogue between Gilbert and the Ministry of Tourism. A water level and rain gauge early warning system was yesterday Tuesday, November 17th, installed at the Bath Stream. The installation of the early warning system is the first part of a project to install 4 stations which will provide flood warning alerts. The project is being funded by the United States Agency for International Development (USAID), while the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology (CIMH) is implementing the stations.
The OECS is a management consultancy agency for the project, so they have contracted CIMH to implement these stations. We have one here at Hot Springs. We're going to install one later in the week at Nisbet Plantation. Then we have two rain gauges at Stony Grove and Morgan Estate. So the way the equipment is supposed to work essentially is supposed to provide downstream flood warning alerts for those in the catchment area below this site. The rain gauge systems will give an early warning indication of the water levels that should be expected at the other 2 radar water level sites, which will be here and Nisbet, as I indicated earlier. We hope that the people that live in the communities around these areas will benefit from the equipment and the obligations of that equipment in terms of early warning mechanisms and forecasting climate change looking forward years down the road.
Beginning in January 2016, officers at the Nevis Disaster Management Department, the Met Office, and the Nevis Water Department are expected to receive training on how to maintain and manage the early warning systems, equipment, and software. The Department of Agriculture, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO, hosted a workshop on the way forward for the breadfruit and breadnut industry in St. Kitts and Nevis at the St. Paul's Anglican Church Hall yesterday, Tuesday, November 17th. Breadfruit and Breadnut Value Chain Committee member Alvis Dyer did the invocation, while chairperson of the opening ceremony, Dwight Brown, introduced the Director of Agriculture, Keithley Amory, who gave these remarks.
So it is very important that we gathered here today to put forward some workable strategies for the breadfruit, and something tangible, I'm hoping, can come of this workshop, because we are really hoping that we can establish such an industry and ensure that food security on the island of both St. Kitts and Nevis can be established.
Enterprise Development Officer in Rome's Agriculture and Consumer Protection Department and FAO Representative Haiku Barman also delivered brief remarks.
The great thing about this project is it's driven by the department, it's driven by both countries of the Federation, and it is a tree for life, similar to the coconut tree, which offers highly nutritious food items which can replace the imported foodstuffs. And we've seen this increasing food import bill all over the region here. Breadfruit is one of the crops which can assist in combating this trend of wasting money, spending it on food imports for less nutritious processed food.
Barman also gave the FAO's perspective on the crops. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Eric Evelyn, said he hopes to see more products made from the breadfruit and breadnut following the completion of the workshop.
I personally believe that this workshop is timely, and I believe that the breadfruit and the breadnut are very much underutilized. And from a ministry standpoint, we would like to see much more work being done with breadfruit and breadnut. I am aware, and it was pointed out by the chairperson, that some work has been ongoing for the past year or more here in the Federation with respect to breadfruit and breadnut. And I would like to endorse all of the activities that have taken place so far. And from this workshop, I would hope that we will see a lot more activity and a lot more products being developed from the breadfruit and the breadnut.
The workshop also saw FAO National Consultant Conrad Kelly giving the project overview. Breadfruit and Breadnut Value Chain Committee member Maureen Stapleton outlined the achievements and highlights of the crops, while Breadfruit and Breadnut Value Chain Committee member Patricia Blake gave the vote of thanks. Still to come, residents to get duty-free allowances in December. The details after this break.
Hey, you know it's your groovy so come on king, your boy Speedy, and I'm here with the Inland Revenue Department, and I love my side dish. And guess what? I also love Nevis too. And as a responsible taxpayer, your tax dollars help to build our nation. So I'm here to tell you, pay your taxes on time and be a responsible citizen. And don't get me wrong, it's a serious song. I pay my taxes. Boom!
Welcome back. Residents of St. Kitts and Nevis, specifically non-commercial importers and travelers, will receive duty-free allowances on foodstuff and non-commercial imports. This was announced by Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris during a statement in the National Assembly yesterday, Tuesday, November 17th. He said during a cabinet meeting held on Monday, November 16th, the decision was taken for the allowance to non-commercial importers and travelers and would be effective from December 1st to 31st, 2015. As such, foodstuff up to the first 400 pounds will be free of duties and taxes, while non-commercial imports will receive duty-free allowance of 540 EC dollars or $200 US of the cost, insurance, and freight value of the goods. The Prime Minister further noted that on no VAT day scheduled for December 18, 2015, zero VAT will be given on the first $75,000 of a vehicle to be imported into the Federation. The Ministry of Health strongly supports an initiative which is seeing the exchange of knowledge and the sharing of best practices between health professionals here on Nevis and the African Caribbean Social Network ACSN, an organization of health professionals from the United Kingdom. That is according to Permanent Secretary Nicole Slack-Liburd, who says the Ministry of Health welcomes the members of the ACSN who on Monday, November 16th, met with the management of the Alexandra Hospital and the Flamboyant Nursing Home.
We recognize the need to explore alternate health financing mechanisms and continue to work towards the realization of universal health coverage. We see we have two persons in the room, at least two, who have had experience with the National Health Service, and so we welcome your views on this issue. At the close of this meeting, it is hoped that we would have discussed this issue extensively, as well as nursing recruitment, retention, and training. We also welcome your observations as you tour our health facility here today, two facilities rather, our hospital and the Flamboyant Nursing Home. I wish you the best of luck in your discussions today and welcome this partnership. We know this partnership will grow over time and we will continue to be part of your network going forward.
Slack-Liburd also notes that the Ministry of Health continues to invest in the training of the island's nurses.
Just this year alone, we are pleased to have 4 bachelor's trained nurses return to us, trained at CFBC, and also to have had some of our nurses complete short-term attachments in renal care as well as accident and emergency. The delivery of healthcare is heavily subsidized by the Nevis Island Administration. The Ministry of Health is one of the ministries where there is significant financial investment. In 2015 alone, the recurrent budget stood at $14,854,908, which is 11% of the total budget of over $133 million. That's recurrent expenditure. Similarly, capital projects for health also represented a significant amount at 12% of capital projects for 2015.
Meantime, Registrar of the St. Christopher and Nevis Nurses and Midwives Council, Maureen Stapleton, notes the continued interest and assistance offered by head of the delegation, Bernal Busu, the Regional Director of the Royal College of Nursing in London.
Mr. Busu has been coming, especially around Nurses Week, and he has recorded some of our activities. And because of that, I was able to attend functions in London. I went to the House of Commons, and also was able to participate in workshops. Meeting with this group has really bring some sense of achievement to us all while you are here, and we go over what progress we can make, and we will twin our ideas, because what we have learned over there we have tried to implement, and we know that you will pick up some of our things as well.
Also sharing in the welcome ceremony were Matron Aldris Pemberton Diaz and Hospital Administrator Gary Pemberton. And finally,
Gingerama is back this year. It's coming back with a bang. And the activities will start on Thursday, the 17th of December, and end on Sunday, December the 20th, 2015. Now, during those activities in December, we will be having 2 shows. We'll be having a Gingerama swimwear pageant on Friday, the 18th of December. And we're also having a Miss Gingerettes pageant, and that will be taking place on the final evening on Sunday, the 20th of December. Now, the Gingerettes will be contestants between the ages of 9 to 11.
Chairperson of the Gingerama Committee, Eric Evelyn, outlining a few of the activities for Gingerama 2015. Evelyn also told us about the activity that the committee has planned for Saturday, November 21st.
This coming Saturday on the 21st of November, we will be launching the contestants. We have 4 contestants for the Miss Gingerama swimwear competition, and we have 6 enthusiastic contestants for the Miss Gingerettes pageant. And so persons have been asking as to who the contestants are, and we are now ready to release the names of the contestants. We had a very successful photo shoot at the Heritage Village on this past Sunday. And so persons will be seeing the contestants up on posters, but we want the general public to get a first glimpse of them this coming Saturday.
The launch is scheduled to take place in the heart of Gingerland at Candice Bar from 2:30 p.m. Following the launch will be a motorcade.
We'll have the launch and start our activity at Candice Bar. Then we're going to be going through Hanley's Road, going over on the main road, then through Hickman's, through Zion, up to Rollins, into Charlestown, and then ending at Market Shop. We're going to be having a bar crawl as well, and we'll have the assistance of Carrie Breweries and Kitts Nevis Limited.
The motorcade will culminate at Ginger Roots Snacket in Gingerland. Evelyn is encouraging persons to support the event.
We are inviting persons who cannot make it to the launch to come out, be on the lookout for the motorcade and the contestants in Hanley's Road, on the main road, in Hickman's, in Zion, in Rollins. I know we normally have very good support about the Poor Man's Bar. We're asking you to be out in your numbers, then at the Octagon, and then we climax at the Ginger Root Snacket in the heart of Gingerland.
The official launch of Gingerama will take place on December 17th with a cultural expo. The swimwear competition will be hosted on December 18th. The Ginger Jam will take place on December 19th, while the final event will be the Miss Gingerette pageant on December 20th. The theme for this year's Gingerama Festival is Reviving Our Culture, Preserving Our Heritage. That's it for this evening's edition of the Nevis Newscast. Thank you for viewing. I am Donis Wilkinson Keynes. Good night.